What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning back into the Atlantic Files. This week on the latest episode, we are talking about James Harden and the Brooklyn Nets struggles. We're talking about Michael Porter Jr. being out for the season now. And we're also talking about the Suns, Embiid, and Chet and Banchero for the top pick and much, much more. So stay tuned and check out the latest episode coming up right now.
The following podcast is part of the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. For advertising information or to find more great podcasts, visit us at www.theunderdogsports.com and follow us on Twitter at RealTheUnderdog.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast and the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your host, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Mike Bash, we got Dennis Stradamus, and also we got a special guest from our fantasy league. We got Tom Tran. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on?
Hi.
So just a background, Tom is with us today. He's from our Dynasty Basketball League that we have on Sleeper. If you need anybody, hit us up. Just letting you know. We actually all currently, we were talking about this right before we hit record, we're all currently tied at 4-2. Only, as I was saying, I think only one of us is rebuilding, and that's me. The other three are actually going for it all right here. But either way, it's a fun league, and definitely trying to open it up to a lot of people too. So maybe in the future we can get some more listeners in this league.
If you want to get your ass beat by me, yeah, by all means.
He hasn't done too much ass beating anyway, so it's all right.
So don't feel too
Dennis is going to be in a bad spot come 2023 when LeBron is full into movie making and James Harden is forced to shave his beard and whatever else he's got going on there. He's got a lot of age and experience on that team.
When James Harden starts losing all of his skill, does that mean he has to lose his beard too?
Well, he's going to try to do that to become a little more aerodynamic.
Okay. Speaking of which,
Mike, save the jokes to me, honey, okay?
Speaking of which, let's jump into the first topic. So, James Harden and the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn seems to struggle against the good teams, especially offensively. James Harden struggling pretty much like 2 out of every 3 games offensively. Last night, I think he put up 10 points. And they ended up giving up the game to Phoenix. So I know we've talked about this a good bit. We've talked about how James Harden's going to figure it out. We talked about how Brooklyn is going to figure it out once James Harden figures it out. But I mean, especially Mike and Dennis. I don't know. Are you a Brooklyn Nets fan as well, Tom?
I am not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm just here to throw shade. That's all.
Are you a Sixers fan?
Yeah, I'm a Sixers fan.
Okay.
Hey, my guy. There we go. Finally, another Sixers fan on here. But so, what do you guys think? Is he going to figure this out? Is Kyrie the only answer to actually help Brooklyn win anything this year? I mean, what's your thoughts? I want to start with Dennis, actually, because he sent out a tweet also the other day that said that we need you, Kyrie, and sent out the bat signal.
So, yeah, let me clarify my position on Kyrie Irving. He's
Your
a
favorite player.
He is couldn't be farther from being a favorite player of mine. He's one of the biggest pains in the asses in the league. He's got mental problems. But I will acknowledge, though, that he is probably one of the best players in the league. He could be arguably he is a top 10 player when he's healthy, and arguably he could be a top 5 when he wants to be. In times he looks like an elite player. So I think we're at the point with this team where in order for it to work, Kyrie needs to be out there.
I don't necessarily 100% disagree with that. I I'm still in the camp that James Harden will figure it out. The problem is I'm also in the camp of James Harden's lost a step. Whether it's physically he's lost a step or they've adjusted the way they're calling the game that's causing him to not be as effective. I think it's a mix of that. I also think he's kind of struggling in, when he was in OKC, he was a young player, developing player. He went to Houston and was the star. Absolute superstar, the whole offense. Even when CP3 was there, he was the whole offense. And now he's in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant. Well, Marcus Aldridge is a proven player in this league. Guys like Blake Griffin, when healthy, Joe Harris, but there's guys all over the court. Patty Mills, like anywhere you look, a guy could score. So it's one thing that he has to adjust to playing in this newly, reffed game where they're not trying to call as many fouls and adjust for, losing a step. He is 32, 33 years old now. But he also is not the star anymore. He's not the go-to guy anymore. So he's trying to play unselfish to keep all these guys happy. He's trying to know when to, figure out when to take his shot and when to be a ball hog. But it's going to take time. He's also a guy that traditionally plays himself, like he says, plays himself into shape. I think if he's still playing like the way he has come game 50, then it's time to panic. But it's not even Christmas yet. So my panic meter's at like a 2 right now. The Suns are not a bad team to lose by. And it's not like I think they lost by like 6. It's not like they lost by 24. So I'm not too panicked. A little concerned, but not too panicked. What about you, Tom?
So here's the thing about that though, and even Kyrie expressed that he wasn't really comfortable with his role. He doesn't really know what his role should be. So there's been a lot of changes in a short period of time, whether it be with the ball or with the new rules or a bunch of guys coming together. And really these guys haven't had a lot of time still to put it all together. I mean, COVID has done a lot of things throughout the league. It's done a lot of good things for some teams, such as when the Lakers won in the bubble, when the Heat made the finals, and it's done a lot of bad things for a lot of teams. I think this is a case where the Nets really just haven't figured things out yet. They could beat teams, but they just can't beat good teams right now, and that's ultimately what the problem is. James Harden has lost a step. He is a little older. However, the guy still has been putting up double-doubles. His shooting numbers haven't been the best. However, if you got that kind of production from somebody else, you'd be pretty damn happy about it. But because it's James Harden, who's built the legacy of doing, triple doubles and being a monster, he might not be that guy anymore. On top of that, you also have Kevin Durant, who's an MVP caliber player. Of course, he's going to have some regression on the offensive end. So we can't say 100% that this has been caused by James Harden losing a step. He's already acknowledged that it took him longer to get into shape. He has already acknowledged that the hamstring issue that he had toward the end of last season caused problems for him. On top of that, you have Kevin Durant, who's just a monster. He's playing fantastic. He's playing out of his mind. So when you put all this stuff together, there's still a lot of things that need to be figured out. But I am confident, though, that they will figure out. However, there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily need to figure out when you have a guy like Kyrie Irving on the floor, who, as I mentioned, I can't stand him. I think he's a nut, but I can't sit here and say that he's not a great player because he's fantastic.
True. I mean, the big thing that worries me about James Harden right now is the fact when he said he's still trying to figure out when it's his time to score, when it's his time to be a playmaker, when it's his time to just play off of the ball. Because, look, we know Kevin Durant is the number one guy. Kevin Durant is going to do what he does. He's going to score. He's going to score a lot. But as James Harden, they brought him in to be the next guy to say, all right, I'm going to do what I want now. after Durant does what he wants. Then I'm going to do what I want. If I'm going to score tonight, I'm going to score tonight. If I feel like being the playmaker, I'll be the playmaker. He dictates that. He doesn't need to wait and see what the other guys need to do or what the other guys need. No, you're in there to be the 1B to Kevin Durant's 1A. So you're supposed to have that mindset. You're supposed to have the superstar mindset of I'm going to get mine and then you're going to play off of me, not I'm going to play off of everybody else.
Yeah, but the thing is he's never really played with a caliber of player like Kevin Durant. Yeah, he's played with him
in OKC.
Shut up and let me finish. Yes, he played with Kevin Durant in OKC, but he wasn't the player that he is today. He was still a damn good player, but Kevin Durant's at elite status now. He's at a godlike level, something he wasn't at really during his days when he was younger. Now he's at that stage where he's getting lumped into conversations with, Kobe, Jordan, like that type of conversation. So, of course, Harden's going to try to do all he can to try to make things easier on him. But that's kind of a role he's not really had throughout his career. He's always been the guy, and he's been the guy who's taken a lot of shots. The whole offense revolved around him. So, yeah, there's going to be some growing pains in there.
So what do you think, Tom?
No, yeah, to piggyback off what you're saying, I think that's why the Nets went out and got James Harden, though. They got James Harden to be James Harden, not this diet version, and kind of let him grow and figure it out. They got him to be a 25-plus scorer along with Kevin Durant, and that's what they need him to be. And I think part of it is the game kind of changing and how the officials are calling fouls for James Harden. He has to figure it out, or is it really just a matter of he's never figured it out? His offensive talent came realistically from the foul, him drawing the fouls, being at the foul line. And now that he can't do that, is that a problem for James Harden now that he doesn't know how to score outside of going to the line? Like at this point, I think he has lost a step just watching. He does look a little bit out of shape. I think so. But I also think he has to be out there. He has to be James Harden. You're in a bigger limelight now. You're playing in New York. You're not playing in Houston anymore. You're not playing in OKC anymore. They need you to be who they went out and got. They don't need you to sit here and facilitate. If they needed someone to facilitate the ball, they would have got a facilitator. They need people to score the rock. And since Kyrie's not there to help score the rock, he has to pick it up.
I also think if you look at James Harden's career, especially in Houston, it wasn't like he was putting up 32 a game and getting 4 assists a game. He was putting up 32 a game, but still getting 10, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11 assists a game.
Right.
He can play his Houston game and not take things away from Kevin Durant. They can coexist.
Exactly.
And I agree with Tom that he just needs to just ball. Just go out there. Don't worry about being unselfish. At this point, you don't need to make sure that guys like Patty Mills and LaMarcus Aldridge are getting theirs. They're just here to chase a ring. Patty Mills has been a great player for the Nets, and I love everything he's contributed. But you don't need to make sure that he's getting his shots up. Just play the game he's used to playing, and I think you'll see. I don't know. You're not going to see him bounce back to 30 points a game, but you'll see him bounce back to 23, 24, 25 points. I just think, he has to stop trying to facilitate like Tom said and just play James Harden ball.
Oh, what the hell do you know?
A lot more than you.
Yeah, I mean, that's so stupid. I mean, he doesn't have to not facilitate. That is so stupid. If he wants to facilitate, he can. That's fine.
Oh, I agree. But the thing is,
moving on.
The thing is, he can do both.
Yeah, I agree.
And he keeps saying, "Oh, I have to decide whether I can score, whether I can facilitate, whether I can do this." You don't have to decide which to do. Do both.
He's playing with a whole new group of guys. At Houston, he was playing with the same guys. And not only was he playing with the same guys, he's playing with the same 4 guys for like 48 minutes a night because D'Antoni never made subs.
Get off my lawn.
But like Mike said, you don't have to worry about Patty Mills, LaMarcus Aldridge getting stuff for them because they're veteran players. They're gonna get theirs wherever they can, and they're happy. They're happy doing so. Blake Griffin, he doesn't even care about scoring at this point. They call themselves the hard hat crew or whatever the hell they say now. Like, they don't even care that much about scoring. They're just trying to do all the dirty work to finally win a ring because that's the only reason they came here in the first place.
Yeah, but it's not like Harden's not taking shots. He took 15 against Phoenix, 13 against Boston, 25 against Orlando. So it's not like he's not taking shots. He's just not shooting well.
But he also just looks tentative doing it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of guys on that team right now who need to get their shit together and figure out what the hell's going on because he's not the only one. So if we're going to sit here and blame this whole thing on James Harden, I'm not going to because there's a lot of guys you can blame. Steve Nash hasn't been the best coach on the planet either. Like it all starts all over the place. It's not just James Harden. James Harden is doing the best he can. He's trying to adapt to the new rules. There's a lot of shit going on. No, you fools are going to be the same ones here in a month when he's shit hot and he's turning everything together. You're going to be, we're going to be talking about James Harden and how well he's been playing, and how the Nets are playing well because they're going to figure this out. They're going to turn it around. They got James Harden. They have Kevin Durant, the 2 of the top 5 players in the league. And if Vax Boy gets his shot, this whole season is about to change.
But that's the thing. If James Harden if James Harden is hot, Brooklyn will probably be playing well. So
they got to figure it out. They got to figure it out.
But I do agree that there's a lot of other guys that need to get their shit together too. I mean, there's plenty of other guys that will show up one game and all of a sudden disappear for the next 8.
I mean, you'd figure too with the Nets, right? Them making the playoffs is good for the city. True. You know what I mean? So people will go to restaurants near Barclays. They'll do all this shit. So you figure, okay, we got to make an exception here. You can make an exception for these types of things. Mm-hmm. Make a damn exception. You don't think Sal's Pizza on the corner of Atlantic Avenue is not going to want people to come eat pizza around the postseason? Like, let's be smarter here from a financial standpoint as well. Like, we need this team in the playoffs. It's good for TV. It's good for the economy around the area. So come on, let's knock this bullshit off with the shots. If the guy wants a shot, he'll get the shot. If he doesn't want to get the shot, don't get the shot.
Who got the sauce? I got the sauce. Who got? That just stuck in my head. He's gonna get the shot if he wants the shot.
Lord. But all right. Let's move.
You got Dennis in his long sleeve shirt all riled up.
He's fired up now. He's ready to go. Should we bring up Ben Simmons? Should we bring up Ben Simmons? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
For Dennis's mental health, we will stay clear of Ben Simmons talk tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't do that.
But since we brought him up real quick, we're just going to touch on this topic real quick. We don't have to talk about this that much. But the Phoenix Suns. Mike brought this up in our group chat and everything, whether the Phoenix Suns are contenders or pretenders. I mean,
you have to question that.
Yeah, I don't think it's much of a question. I think they're 1,000% contenders.
No, I agree. I watched the Nets, obviously the Nets play them, and the Phoenix Suns are kind of built like how and for guys, you guys have playing multiple fantasy leagues of mine. You see how I build my dynasty teams.
Like shit.
You don't just I'm ahead of you in the standings in every league that we play in. So anyway, if you don't just rely on 3 guys, you build a whole team, right? You want depth, you want good pieces all over the place. Yes, they have a star in Devin Booker. They even have 2 stars in DeAndre. They even have 3 stars. They have a big 3 with Chris Paul. But it's not 3 stars and just trash after that. It's Mikal Bridges. It's Jay Crowder. It's Cameron Payne. It's Cam Johnson. It's Frank the Tank Kaminsky.
Landry Shamet.
They got Landry Shamet. They got role players. They got players that can step up and make plays for them. It's not just 3 guys and a bunch of Mario Chalmers. So
Hey, you watch your mouth.
it's not a bunch of Norris Coles and
NBA champion
Mike
Mario
Miller,
Chalmers.
So they got depth, they got players, they got people that fill roles, they got good coaching. You got the point guard in Chris Paul. This team, everyone thought, they got to the NBA Finals last year because of all these injuries and a lucky break and a lucky draw. No, they got there because they're a good team and they're backing it up this year.
You know something though, that got me every time I look at Chris Paul, I'm just like, I'm so sick of he's on the all-time street clothes team though.
Oh, will you give it a rest?
He
Alex,
is hurt a lot, especially in the playoffs.
Because it's only a matter of time. And he was hurt last year in the postseason. He was hurt the year the Rockets were going to – the Rockets could have won the championship the one season he injured his hamstring, and then he fucked it all up for him. So
the Clippers, he did the same thing with his hamstring.
Yeah,
I'll give you credit. Man. In 15 seasons, he's only played 80 or more games 3 times.
Exactly. But
he's played 78 games or more 5 times. He's played 70 games 9 times, and then the rest is 64 and under.
But we do have to take into consideration is I didn't memorize this, but I'm running down the teams here. So we got the Cavs, the Pelicans, the Rockets, the Hawks, the Kings, the Blazers, the Grizzlies, the Rockets, the Timberwolves 2 times over the Mavericks, a injury-plagued Nuggets team, the Spurs, the Cavs, and the Knicks, and the Nets. They really haven't beat any good teams during that stretch, to be honest with you. We're going to really see what they're all about when they meet up with Steph Curry and company.
True.
When they play Golden State. So we'll see who's that right there is going to tell us a lot of who's championship contender and who's just full of shit. Right, Tom?
Yeah, but I think even if Golden State's on a tear anyway. I think even if the Suns do lose to Golden State, I think it just depends on, like Bash said, they're built in a way. They're built in a way, honestly, that they can make a postseason run. I mean, they're showing that again that they're not who they were last year, and it wasn't a Cinderella story. They're for real, at least for this season. They're for real, and they're putting it together. It looks like they're playing well. They're playing good fundamental basketball. They're playing good defense. I mean, I don't think there's anything left to say. Even though you're playing trash teams, listen, you just need a little mojo going your way, even if you're an ass team, to slip by and get a win.
They are who we thought they were.
Tom, honey. I was not implying that they were not a good team. I'm saying they beat a lot of shit teams that get to 16. I'm not doubting that they're a playoff team. However, what I am saying is that we're going to find out what they're made of when they play the Warriors.
Dennis, can you stop calling us honey? You're 38 years old, and it's a little weird.
He's just a little
You got a long sleeve gray t-shirt on.
That's Dennis's version of Kelly Oubre like blowing kisses. That's like Dennis's version of
it. Don't ever lump me in with Kelly Oubre. That hair, man. That hair is whack.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
But speaking of hair, though, Tommy T's looking good too, man. Look at that hair.
Listen,
I know he's got it.
Great hair.
But he can run for his money. Gotta get it. Gotta get some color in it.
Yeah, I'm starting to, so it is what it is.
I've given up. I've given up on hair a long time ago. So
no, you're good. So yeah, to answer Mike's stupid question, the Suns are contenders.
Yes,
thank you.
They are.
Next.
All right. So real quick, let's take a quick break. Guys, we need to talk. We downloaded this new app called Wisdom. It is an app where you go on. There are mentors. If you need to talk about anything, these mentors open up rooms, sort of like Clubhouse or whatever app you guys may have used. And you come in, you ask questions, you ask anything that the room might be on. And we are now on Wisdom as well. So download the app Wisdom. Right now, it's only available on iOS. Download the app Wisdom and follow us. Our username is @Atlantic Files. Just like our Twitter, same thing, @Atlantic Files on Wisdom. On Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we are going to go on to Wisdom and we're going to host our own room there. You can come talk to us. You can come ask some questions. You can come ask us anything you want about basketball, about podcasting itself, about, running social media accounts, whatever it may be. You can ask us anything on there. We'll be there for quite a while, at least a little, like half an hour, probably around there. So we'll be on there for a while. Wednesday, 7 p.m. on the Wisdom app. We want to talk to all of you, take your questions and everything. We can't wait to hear from you guys. Make sure you download Wisdom today, and we will talk to you guys on Wednesday.
I do want to say that don't ask me any social questions because I have no idea. If you want to ask me about pizza, water ice, anything you want, I'll answer. But don't ask me about how to encrypt anything or any of that stuff because I have no idea.
Dennis, can I ask you about AARP? Because I think you're they're banging on your door pretty soon.
Well, I am looking to get a discount at Denny's. So
hey, a discount on a Grand Slam is always nice.
The moon's over my hammy.
All right, let's jump back into it. I want to bring up Michael Porter Jr. because that is Mike's guy. It's Mike's team. Other than the Nets, Mike was all about the Nuggets for so long. He's all about Michael Porter Jr. Now out for the season, back surgery after signing $200 million contract.
Right. So can we just agree that he just might be a bum after signing the bag? Can we just say that? Can we put that on? I think it's I got the money and now I got growing pain syndrome. He's looking like Ben Simmons. We throw the bag at him and he's just not doing it.
Well, unlike Michael Carter Jr. could actually shoot the.
Guess.
That being said,
hopefully he's not broke like.
I'm not a Nuggets guy anymore. I moved on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you didn't remember that out.
Don't even.
I didn't buy a round trip ticket. I bought one ways. It's a one-way ticket on to Denver, and I took a one-way to Cleveland. That's all it is. No round trip.
Somebody else.
So that being said, yeah, it pains me. I mean, I had predicted the big three of Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Nikola Jokic, and for 20 games that looked great. It was kind of like the Nets' big three. Unfortunately, Murray tore his ACL. Michael Porter Jr. has nerve damage or whatever, and Jokic is too worried about fighting, Markieff Morris and Udonis Haslem in Miami. So, unfortunately, the injuries are going to catch up to Denver. Yeah, they still have Jokic, who is the reigning MVP. They still have Aaron Gordon. They have a promising rookie in Bones Highland. Shout out to the Richmond Rams or Bob Mucciolo in our Dynasty League who owns Bones Highland. I'm sorry.
Why do you keep talking about Bones Highland?
Rosters Bones Highland. What?
Why do you keep talking about Bones Highland?
He's the next man up on the Nuggets. Bones Highland's going to be the next man up. He's a young CJ McCollum out of VCU. Just wait. Just wait.
From Delaware.
So we'll see if they can keep the ship afloat until Jamal Murray gets back and go from there. It sucks. I don't know what's going to happen with Michael Porter Jr. Hopefully this surgery is something that kind of like Joel Embiid when he was a rookie had his surgeries and rested, and then he's been fine.
Yeah, that did him real well.
All right, Dennis. Like you hate any guy that doesn't play 82 games a season. So.
You know how I know Mike is officially off the Denver train is because he didn't even mention his guy, Bol Bol. He didn't even come close to saying anything about Bol Bol, maybe getting some more playing time for once.
Well, I traded Bol Bol in our Dynasty League as part of my hold on. It even proves to you guys that I'm on the Cleveland now. I traded Bol Bol for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, then took Nickeil Alexander-Walker, packaged him with Jonathan Kuminga, and got myself Darius Garland. The prize of Cleveland. Now I got Garland and Mobley, Mob City, as Tommy likes to call him. We're back. We're into Cleveland now, so we're all good.
And now I have Alexander Walker and Kuminga.
Yeah, there you go. And Tommy gave me Garland. He wouldn't give me DeJounte Murray, which kind of pains me.
Listen, Murray's a stud. He's a bona fide stud.
Yeah, but I could have had Jamal and DeJounte. My team name could have been
listen, when we started, that was the whole. I had Murray and Murray Co. going, and then I jumped off and managed to ship him over to you before he tore his ACL.
Yeah, I could have been Murray and Murray Co. Could have been on new ownership. Little venture capitalism.
I don't know what venture capitalism is.
I don't either, but it sounded like it'd be the right term here.
I do know, however, that you guys, your team's not better than mine, so who cares?
You're a sellout.
Well, either way, the Denver looks pretty dead in the water right now.
Yeah.
So
they still got Jokic. I'm not gonna say they're dead in the water.
I mean, yeah, but it's the West.
All right, I'm gonna put all this shit to rest right now. Okay, so here's what Denver needs to do. Okay, they need to regroup. All right, Michael Porter Jr. is 23 years old. You remember when you're 23, you go out a couple days, you could literally get alcohol poisoning 3 days in a row and just bounce back fine. Like when you're 23, you will bounce back. All right, so he's had back problems. That's the reason why he wasn't selected higher when he was drafted. We all know about his back problems. Okay, that's not good news. But the good news is he's young. So with the way modern medicine is these days and all that other shit, he's gonna be fine. So what they need to do is they need to play this thing cool. They need to take a step back. Jokic has been hobbled a bunch already this season. They can't be pushing anything. They're not going to win a championship this year. So if Jamal Murray is going to come back and he's going to not be on 100% and they got to restrict his minutes and all that other bullshit, they're better off just having him sit out the entire year. So tank it, get a pick, do something. I don't know if they have draft picks or not, but phone it in. Who gives a shit? It's one season. You're going to be playing for the rest of the, moving ahead. So that's what I think they should do. They shouldn't be rushing Murray back. Porter Jr. is going to be just fine. Jokic needs to, as long as he doesn't eat and gain 50 pounds, he's going to be fine.
They should just use the prototype that Golden State did when everyone on Golden State got hurt. And it was only Steph Curry, and then they just, at some point just said
got
Steph.
D'Angelo Russell from the Nets, and they got helped out a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, at that point, they just they had a team full of G League players because Steph, Clay, Dre, everyone was hurt.
Well, Draymond belongs in the G League, so you can put him in that.
Okay.
Draymond's played pretty well this year, so.
Didn't he win a Defensive Player of the Year?
I'm just teasing. I'm teasing.
Surprisingly, as well, Draymond Green's actually been pretty healthy, which has been I'm fucking shocked so far. I can't believe that this guy's been this healthy.
And now Wiseman and Klay Thompson are both working out with the G League Warriors, so they're on their way back too.
It's over.
Exactly. So let's move on then.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that you hear all this shit too. Everybody's like, "Is Clay gonna be what he was?" Of course, he's fine.
Clay did not rely on athleticism like some other people did with those kind of injuries. So
literally, he just sits there and shoots. He plays defense and shoots.
What was it? He got 60-some points on on 7 dribbles or something.
It was crazy. So he doesn't need to move basically. And if he can't play defense anymore, whatever. Nobody plays defense, so who cares?
So let's move on. I want to bring up Joel Embiid and the Sixers. So last night I was at the game.
Sorry.
It was, to be honest, I just was happy that it was an entertaining game because the first 2-3 quarters looked like it was just going to be a complete blowout.
Did you eat anything at the game?
I had some crab fries.
Dennis, can we talk about the fact that Alex, Karl Anthony Towns comes in and D'Angelo Russell from the town and you don't even extend an invite to I'm a big D-Lo guy.
Look, my girlfriend has first dibs on weekend games because she's the other one paying the season tickets. So
Damn, that's cold.
weekday games is a possibility, but weekend games, she has first dibs.
Even though you might have a better chance of getting lucky after the game if Mike's involved.
That is true.
Oh, Dennis, you need help.
That's
Did the crab fries come in that big
See,
bucket?
the thing is, Dennis relies
Yes.
on me to do his tax return for him to get lucky. That's the problem. Those are the only nights of the year he ever gets lucky is when that tax refund hits the bank account.
I mean, so far it's worked. So if anyone needs to get lucky, hit up Mike.
Yeah, literally, I got a check in the mail the other day from Mike doing my taxes from, next thing I know, I get a check because of Mike, and then I have all these Amazon packages showing up at my door. Like,
Are you sure you even saw the check?
I don't think so. I almost broke my foot coming into the house today because I had Amazon and all this other garbage piling up.
But anyway, yes, the crab fries did come in one of those big buckets. Definitely worth the money. Had a couple beers too, so it was good.
Wash it down with a little Turkey Hill Philly vanilla.
I did not get ice cream because we went to Xfinity Live beforehand and even had dinner. So
I don't know what that is.
Tommy, are you also a Sixer fan?
What's up?
Are you also a Sixer fan?
Yes, I am, my good sir.
Okay. So at least we have two people that'll be probably checking into some sort of mental health clinics by the mid-March.
Oh,
Listen,
God.
I'll wear my Ben Simmons jersey right to my therapist. Don't worry.
You can wear that to a local neighborhood. They'll need some bricks to be laid.
I tried therapy. It didn't work.
Well, you need more than therapy.
Apparently Ben Simmons did too.
That he did.
Honestly, though, I'm glad. I'm not a big Joel Embiid guy and break his balls all the time, but from the way he described COVID and everything, I'm glad he's feeling better. I'm glad he's okay. I don't want to see anything happen to anybody. So it's glad that he's feeling better.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fact that he actually said he didn't know if he was going to come back from it,
that's scary shit.
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying. And it was really cool of him and Karl Anthony Towns showing each other love through everything that happened COVID wise, especially with the beefs that they've been in whenever they play together or play against each other. But overall, the game was really exciting. Joel Embiid had a fantastic game. The rest of the Sixers all sucked.
What did he do? 42 and 15?
Yeah, just about.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what it is. All these guys that come back from COVID, they play like amazing. Jaylen Brown did that too.
That's true. But the only thing was, I did notice Embiid did look skinnier, first off. And on top of that, it looked like he was exhausted within 4 minutes. And usually it takes like 10 minutes.
Doesn't Embiid eat like a hamburger pregame as part of his pregame routine?
That was 2 seasons ago. That was when he was still young. Young mentally, I should say.
It was like hamburgers and anime or something.
Yeah, while he was getting like a massage courtside. Something that Dennis does all the time.
What, eat hamburgers?
And get massages.
Dennis goes to those happy ending places.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's
with Robert Kraft.
You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
But anyway,
yeah,
so the Sixers in general, I mean, obviously the big battle with Sixer fans are just saying every time it's a loss, they say if Ben Simmons was there, it would have been a win. Every time there's a win, everyone says we don't need Ben Simmons. It literally just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth the whole time. And at this point, it's just like watching that Minnesota game, I don't think Ben Simmons would have saved anything. I don't think he would have won the game for them. I don't think he would have changed the outcome of this game because at the end of games, Doc Rivers was taking Ben Simmons out of the game anyway, especially if they needed to score. But all in all, it's just the Sixers looked great. Then everyone got hit with COVID and injuries. Now that everyone's finally back, it just kind of looks like a re-gelling period because Tyrese Maxey looked like he was just tentative the whole time. He didn't look like he attacked nearly as much as he would when Joel Embiid wasn't there. And I think it's not like Embiid demands the ball. It's not like he yells at Maxey to give him the ball. So Maxey just has to keep playing the exact game he was playing and then get Embiid involved every time that he doesn't have the lane.
No, he Embiid needs to get the ball so he can do that stupid pump fake behind 3-point line that he always does.
People fall for it every time.
And I was gonna say, yeah, like if you fall for that at this point, you should just fucking retire. I mean, like literally, how do you fall for that? It's the same move every time.
It's really effective. It's just like that LeBron James look away 3 shit he does every single time. It works. And True. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
How about LeBron too? What a turd he is.
Dennis is on to his 3rd different drink of the night.
That's why he's fired up. He actually has Everclear in there. It's not water.
Yeah, I'm drunk. Yeah, no, I know this has nothing to do, but how about LeBron? First, he gets into a physical altercation with a guy who's 7 feet tall, has a fan thrown out, grabs his nutsack after he makes a shot. I mean, what's going on with this guy?
Hollywood.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Hollywood and the fact that the Lakers are much worse than everyone expected them to be.
That is true.
I mean, now you got Anthony Davis shooting. Anthony Davis is shooting the 3 worse than Russell Westbrook. And that's saying something.
He better watch. Anthony Davis better watch it before he tears a rotator cuff or something. I honestly think that Anthony Davis, and I'm not even making this up, I want somebody to check it. I don't think there's been a night in probably 2 years where Anthony Davis hasn't made an appearance on the injury report heading into something. I actually think I've even seen him with 2 separate injury designations. He would enter the day with 1 injury designation and then end up with another one before tip-off. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, he's definitely all first team street clothes. So yeah, but just, bad. It's typical Sixers fans, we don't need Ben Simmons. And then, Tyrese Maxey's playing well. Then Daddy comes back from COVID. And then all of a sudden he shuts down, and now everybody's talking about Ben Simmons. And then that thing you said about he's got. I mean, a lot of coaches take guys out at the end of games when it doesn't fit with what's going on. I don't understand how you're knocking Ben Simmons for that. No, I'm not knocking Ben Simmons. I'm just saying the people that said Ben Simmons would have changed the end of the game.
Yeah,
I don't think it's true.
We're going to talk Ben Simmons tonight.
Well, we kind of
had to.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, all in all, so this was my thing about last night too. From the last 4 possessions of double overtime, I was sitting there saying, someone needs to take play calling away from Doc Rivers. He literally ran the same exact play 8 times in a row, and which ended in the last play, Tyrese Maxey turning the ball over and then Minnesota taking the lead. Because they literally ran the same exact thing where Embiid comes up, sets a pick, and Maxey rolls around the left side, and then he just bounce passes or throws it over top of the defense back to Embiid at the top of the key. It was, and this isn't an exaggeration, it was 5 of the last 7 plays. They ran that exact thing at the top of the key. And then it gets stolen at the end, and then boom, they take the lead. And then, so what does Doc do? Call a timeout, runs an out-of-bounds play to put Embiid on the 3-point line in the corner where obviously he's getting double-teamed, and then still has an extra timeout that he could have called once he inbounded the ball, but decides not to. So last night, to me, I'm putting it mostly on Doc Rivers, and then the fact that Tobias is one of the most overpaid people in the NBA right now. And Tyrese Maxey just needs to grow.
So, like, for me, like, that whole a whole sequence. Realistically, it just shows that we need somebody else not named Tobias Harris to be our number 2. We need more offensive fire. We need somebody else. We need to get Joel some help.
Right.
Realistically is what it came down to. That contract to Tobias Harris was a mistake. It's probably going to haunt us until we can get him off the books and trade him for something. But that it just goes to show when your entire offense has to run through your 7-foot whatever center who has to do every single thing. It's predictable. That's all it is. That it's kind of like the Timberwolves back when Cat came out. Everything ran through Cat. And that's it. Everything now is running through Embiid, and we'll get some wins when role players step up and play better. But I think that's all we're going this season, especially it's showing. This is why I think we miss Ben Simmons. Although he offered almost nothing in the form of a jump shot or instant offense, he gave us some good defense. He gave us some good playmaking. And, when his back's to the basket, it gave somebody some glimmer that he might just dunk it over their head. So, I mean, having Ben Simmons out there on the court gives another potential threat. If Tobias Harris comes out in the first quarter and he's shooting like shit, no one's worried about Tobias Harris. If Danny Green's street, no one's worried about Danny Green. Like, I love Court, but he ain't gonna run out there and give us 20 buckets a night. Like it's we just need help. Embiid needs some help.
Exactly. And the one thing that I will also say that one of the biggest things the Sixers are missing that Ben Simmons does help with is the fast break. Yes. The fast break looks terrible. I'm pretty sure the Sixers are last in pace. And that was when every other season beforehand, they were like top 5 in pace. But the fast break is literally just guys throwing the ball all around, sometimes not even throwing it to their own teammate. And other times they're just like, oh, we could have a 3-on-1, but let's just bring it up slow and set up and do this and that. So, yeah, Ben Simmons has things he could help with, but the biggest issue is there's no one that's scoring outside of Embiid unless Seth Curry. I mean, we can't expect Seth Curry to be shooting 50% and 45% from 3 the whole season and the playoffs.
Didn't he do that last year? Wasn't he in the 50-40-90?
I think he finished almost 50-40-90, but he was just outside of it.
Okay.
But so again, you can't just expect that out of Seth Curry, who's supposed to be your 4th, 5th guy.
Right.
Yeah, so by the way, the Sixers this season without Embiid are 3-7. So, and I hate to break the news to you, but for nobody who doesn't believe me or thinks that I'm full of shit, Dennis Stradamus is here to tell you that there's going to be a point in time when Joel Embiid is going to miss another stretch of games, and it's probably going to happen sometime before the end of the year, if not soon after, but it's coming. So they actually do have somebody who can actually be a good complement to Joel Embiid. His name is Ben Simmons. But
he doesn't compliment him at all, as we've seen.
Ben Simmons is great to have when Joel Embiid is not playing.
Correct. But the two of them together don't work.
Yeah, but I don't blame it all on both of those two guys being together. I blame it on what they have around them.
I agree.
True.
They don't have anybody. Like I said before, Ben Simmons is not a scorer. So if you sign, they were a lot better when they had Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, but now Jimmy's gone, and now you have just Tobias Harris who's lost a step. So this isn't working.
I was just about to say, I wholeheartedly believe that if Jimmy Butler was here instead of Tobias Harris and you had the same exact team, we would not even be having Ben Simmons conversations at all.
Nope. The only reason why Ben Simmons is getting is because he has more pressure on him now. It's because he's the second best player on the team. Nobody had a problem with him. People still said stuff about how he couldn't shoot and blah, blah, blah. But nobody really had a problem with him up until he became the guy. And he didn't turn into the guy that everybody thought he was going to be, even though that before they drafted him, they knew he couldn't shoot. So, you know what I mean? It's like they need Ben Simmons back. So they need to call up Passages Malibu, wherever the hell he's staying, and getting, you know.
Oh, Ben Simmons.
Yeah, what do you think I said?
I didn't understand who Passages Malibu was. I'm sorry.
It's a rehab place.
Oh.
That's where he's spending all of his money. That's why he doesn't have any money anymore.
Well, apparently he doesn't have all of his money because he keeps buying a new car every week or something.
He's got to go to the Carl Anthony Towns School of Financial Excellence.
Literacy?
Literacy. Because apparently it was Cat's been driving like a Toyota Camry, like a 98 Toyota Camry for years now.
That's because Cat's dad used to be the usher at the Rutgers games right where I sat. So his dad, worked 2 jobs, and I think Cat grew up with a good background from his parents of how to manage money, at least.
I just saw Cat's dad. He was sitting a couple rows behind us at the game.
See, if you would have brought me, I could have introduced it to you.
I've already met him. I know him. I said hi.
You guys want to pick that up? The names you just dropped?
We'll try. But all right.
I don't buy that, Sari. I mean, I've worked 2 jobs before, and that didn't stop my daughter from wanting to go to Target and get makeup and shit. So I don't buy that.
I think there's a bit of a difference. Oh,
I wish you would do that. Go, Daddy, I've seen you work 2 jobs before. So yeah, I'm gonna instead of.
All right, let's move on to the last topic instead of talking about Dennis's financial history.
Well,
rude.
Let's talk about the Knicks, and then real quick at the very end, we can talk about Chet Holmgren, Banchero, and whoever's going to be.
Do we really even have to talk about the Knicks?
Yeah, do we have to?
Well, we at least got to talk real quick about the fact that Kemba Walker is out of the rotation completely right now.
Yeah, he's washed up. All right.
He's butt. He's butt.
He's washed up. The Knicks suck. Have a good night.
Who's going to play point? They said Alec Burks is starting point guard?
He's shit out lately.
They're going to give Julius Randle
for 4 games.
Free Obi Toppin.
What about your man's Quickly?
That's the thing. I don't understand why you don't just give him more minutes. He's been playing him only like 15, 20 minutes a game.
It's a progression. It's working that way. Tibbs got to figure out how he's going to get Taj Gibson, 28 minutes a game, so it's a progress. It's a process. He'll figure it out.
Instead of rings, he's trying to get Taj Gibson Defensive Player of the Year and D-Rose 6th Man of the Year. He just wants his guys to win awards.
He has trying to get Taj Gibson another contract. That's all.
What'd you say, Tom?
I said he has his priorities straight. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. And real quick, there was another question I had, but I'll just ask it real quick right here. You just give me a yes or no. Can Julius Randle lead a playoff team to success?
Yeah, he did it last year.
He
did.
Success is losing in the first round?
Well, for the Knicks.
For the Knicks.
For the Knicks, winning a playoff game is success.
Dude,
what I'm saying is leading a team to success. So that means
it depends how you define
winning
success.
the championship.
For the Cleveland Browns, winning 6 games in a season is success.
I'm talking winning the championship.
For Ben Simmons,
can Julius Randle be the number 1 guy on a championship team?
No. Maybe the NCAA championship.
Maybe.
Didn't he lose when he was at Kentucky?
Yeah, he didn't make it to the final.
Yeah.
All right, last topic. Last topic.
Hold on.
Okay, go Dennis.
Here we go. Here's Dennis and his, dissertation.
Where you got a McDonald's run to make, or they stop making McChickens at a certain point, or what?
I go with the crispy chicken sandwich now that I'm making, working a full-time, big boy job. I can get.
He's working 2 jobs. His dad worked 2 jobs, so he can only.
Yeah, I don't got to go on the dollar menu anymore.
Yeah, but when you throw cheese and extra mayonnaise on that McChicken, throw down 3, 4 of them. Not a bad night. So, anyways, the Knicks just making the playoff in itself is good enough. That's like they won a championship because they haven't done shit.
I mean, that is true.
I mean, look at their loser owner, Straight Shot, Jimmy D in the Straight Shot. You ever listen to that shit? And this is what the guy's missing draft night for. He missed a draft night to go play at a bar with his shitty band. So you're damn right that making the playoffs is good enough.
True. I mean, hey, nobody
Okay,
accused Dolan of being a good owner. But so
the Straight Shot.
all right, let's finish things up here. NBA draft coming up next year. Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero set as what looks to be the top picks. Got some other names in there too. One of the guys that I hope becomes a top pick is Jalen Duren, just because he's a Philly guy. I've seen him since he was a freshman in high school, so be cool to see him as a top pick. But what do you guys think? Who's going to become the top pick? Who's going to be the better player? Who you got?
So Banchero, I don't know if you guys caught the Duke Gonzaga game. Banchero is like the complete package. Shoot, dribble, he's 6'10", does everything Ben Simmons can't do. And then Chet Holmgren has everything you can't teach. 7 feet long, can shoot, dribble, fade away, block shots. If you said to me who's the better player right now, it's Paolo Banchero, or however you pronounce his name. If you said to me who has the most upside, it's Chet Holmgren. I mean, he needs to eat a few McChickens because that kid is, as thin as this remote right here. But he's got an unreal skill set. He abused my former Rutgers center, Miles Johnson, by blocking his shot, then taking the ball, going full court. Miles Johnson caught up to him eventually. He went behind the back and slammed it on him. It was great to watch. I mean, Holmgren Holmgren kind of reminds me of what we thought Porzingis is going to be.
We thought
what?
We thought who we thought he was.
Yeah. Holmgren, it looks like he'll be a better version of Porzingis. It's the American Porzingis, basically. Banchero, to me, I don't know. He kind of looks like he'll be like what Michael Porter Jr., a healthy Michael Porter Jr. So you got a healthy Michael Porter Jr. and a healthy Kristaps Porzingis coming out this year. So you got my answer through that. Most upside, Chet Holmgren, better player right now is definitely Paolo Banchero.
Does that answer the question though? Who would you take number one if you were on the clock, Bash? Who would you take?
Well, who's the team? I don't know if
let's say the number one team is Houston.
If it's Houston, I'm going Holmgren. If it's a team that has a young center, like let's just say Detroit's on number one again, right? And they have Isaiah Stewart and they have Cade Cunningham. Well, then you go Paolo Banchero. I think it's a team dependent situation.
No, I agree.
Like if I'm trying to think of some of the bad teams in the league, like if it's Sacramento, I'm going Holmgren.
What if it's the Magic?
Well,
you got Jonathan Isaac, you got Mo Bamba, you got Wendell Carter.
That's a situation I go Banchero because they have Bamba, they have Carter. They need they're lacking and I love Franz Wagner, but they're lacking another big wing scorer.
Yeah, they have Mo.
What?
They have Mo too. That's the answer.
Yeah, so it's team dependent. I honestly, it's team dependent.
The Magic haven't had a big wing scorer since Tracy.
Not that they're going to be in this situation, but if New Orleans won it, you have Ingram and Zion. Assuming that those guys don't get traded, you go Banchero. I'm sorry, you go Holmgren. You go Holmgren.
I was about to say.
You go Holmgren. I'm sorry, you go Holmgren. I'm sorry, I messed up. You go Holmgren. So I think it's two really great prospects. I don't think one of them is generational and the other one's not. I'm not saying they could both end up being generational. I'm just saying it's not. It's a team dependent, and we've never really had that situation, at least in recent memory.
True.
It could almost be like a Blazers where it was Odin versus Durant. I felt like that was kind of more like, what's the better situation?
I mean, that worked out well.
Odin, if you look at Odin's numbers and the minutes he played, that dude was unbelievable.
Oh, Odin was insane.
Street clothes.
Yeah, well, of course, but
That aside,
what about you guys?
I
Holmgren.
go Holmgren. I just think he has everything you need. I don't care. In my opinion, I don't care who's picking one. I think he's the guy. He has an unteachable skill set at a size you can't really. He just needs to fill out his frame. And lanky, skinny dudes have shown if they can fill out their frame, they can be godly and otherworldly. Look at Giannis, Kevin Durant. I mean, he just has a skill set that the other prospects really can't touch. And then on top of that, you add all the intangibles in there. He looks as good as advertised coming in. I think what everyone's stuck on with Paolo, he's a great player, but looking at it, he just looks like a grown man playing with boys. And I think that's where he is. He's good compared to the talent that he's playing with or against who he's playing with right now. I think Banchero, you throw him in, you give him a season, let him get an NBA workout routine going. I think he's going to be hands down the better prospect. And I think he should. I don't care who's picking one. I think he has to go one.
See, I tried filling out. I just forgot I was 5'9".
He kept on filling.
There's no cap for you. You just kept overflowing. Yeah.
I mean, but that is true. Like Kevin Durant was ridiculously skinny at Texas.
Right. And he ain't looking too good right now.
I was about to say, even now, he doesn't look that filled out. He still looks super skinny. But yeah, Giannis looked like a skinny little kid, and now he looks like a damn bodybuilder or something.
I think he's the poster boy. He's the poster boy for it. A little thin guy, has a decent skill set with some upside. I think the only reason is there's nobody else really pushing those two for the top.
Right.
Sean Marks actually called me. He said, "Hey, Dennis, you got to help us. We need to put 20 pounds on KD. Can you help us?" And I said, "Sure."
Send him up to Syracuse and put him on the Clausen diet. And,
he'll be back 20 at least 20 pounds heavier in 5 days.
Put him on the water ice diet.
Get him a few honey buns.
You need more caloric. You need more calories in that.
Oh, the Turkey Hill vanilla.
A few honey buns.
Yo, honey buns got me through college. Shout out, little Miss Debbie.
Yeah, but you just feel like complete shit. Like one time, I probably ate a whole box of them, and I just felt like garbage.
Oh, I agree.
Oh yeah,
you don't feel great.
You're not supposed to eat a whole box of them either.
Hey, don't judge me.
I'm not.
Ho-hos.
Giving you some medical advice, man.
Dennis,
just let me. I'm too far gone. Just let me go.
I forgot what Tom's background is. He might be in the medical field. I forget.
I don't know.
Tom, you're a lawyer. Tom, right? You're a lawyer?
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah. Not bad. That's definitely not.
I play in a fantasy league. I'm in a fantasy league with one accountant, a high school football coach, and 10 lawyers.
and a future school super. Well, no, that's another one.
No, that's a different league.
Tom,
the football league I play with Tom in is 10 lawyers, a football coach, and an accountant.
Tom, you know anything about you know anything about parking tickets, Tom?
Nah. That's the one thing that gets me every single time.
You got to stop parking outside the Ritas in the handicap spot. You're not handicapped yet. On that note, I think that is it for us. Unless, Dennis, I know usually you don't care about the draft until they're finally in the NBA. So I didn't know if you had an input for this or not.
No, the only thing I was going to suggest is if there's any tall white guys from Europe, don't draft them.
There's Nikola Jovic.
Doesn't work out.
Nikola Jovic is the fake Jokic.
Like one out of 5 times, and for those of you who are good at math, it's like 20% of the time it doesn't work out.
True.
But when it does work out, it works out big.
Yeah.
That's true, but I am not taking a chance.
That's why you trade away all your picks.
Exactly.
Doesn't need him.
Dennis is not about the young guys. He's about waiting until they get really good and then trading all of his picks for them.
That's right.
That's Dennis's thing.
That's right.
But that's it for us. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast and the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. Thanks for joining us, Tom. It was nice to have you. Hopefully we can get you back on here another time.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Finally, it's good to have a guy that actually has not only hair but great hair like me.
I appreciate it.
And a Sixers fan.
I'm just missing all this, Dennis. Missing all that.
Yeah, we got Dennis down here, and then we got the Asian Dennis down on the bottom too.
Whoa, that's racist.
That's the look he's going for. It's the look he's going for. He got the same glasses, the same hair, just missing the beard.
People think we're twins.
They do.
That's what I've heard.
I'm actually going to the courtroom for him tomorrow.
Because it's a Rita's case.
It's his own. He illegally parked again.
Exactly.
Somebody's Rita's melted quicker than it should have, so they wanted me to take the case.
They brought you in to sue.
They knew you were the guy.
Exactly. Oh man, but that's it. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Or Wednesday.
Well, we'll catch you Wednesday on the Wisdom app. But in terms of the podcast, we'll catch you next week.